Welcome to the Daily Vibecasting.
Hey there.
We're diving straight into the X sphere today for a really quick, energetic roundup of what's trending.
Yep, grabbing those nuggets of insight from the digital pulse.
Exactly. Think rapid fire takes tech, global stuff, market moves. We've picked out 12 posts that caught our eye.
Should give you a pretty good snapshot of the buzz.
All right, let's unpack this. Okay, first segment, societal shifts and economic impact. We're starting with @GarbageHuman24.
Okay.
They posted, people will still tell you with a straight face that it's a gun problem, and then there's a link with a chart.
Right, I saw that one. And what's striking, looking at that CNN health chart they linked, is how it just complicates the simple narrative.
How's that?
Well, the data shows these really stark racial disparities in firearm homicide rates, like Missouri, 1.52 for white men, but 49.14 for black men per 100,000. It's huge.
Wow, that's a massive difference.
It really is. And it makes you ask, is it just about guns? Or are there these deeper cultural, socioeconomic factors? A 2023 CDC study actually linked higher rates to systemic inequities.
Right. The ones made worse by COVID.
Exactly. And historical data backs this up too. Sharp rises, especially hitting black communities hard. It suggests, well, gun control alone probably isn't the full answer.
So it's pointing toward needing much broader solutions then.
Yeah. Things like tackling those inequities, economic opportunity, mental health access, community programs, addressing the root causes, basically.
Makes sense. Okay, let's pivot. Economic policies now. Tariffs are getting a lot of talk. This is from @BennyJohnson, Sinstain. U.S. tariff revenue hit a record $29.6 billion in July. They have brought in over $100 so far this year. The experts were wrong. Trump was right. Tariffs work, along with a link.
Okay, so record revenue sounds great on the surface, right? Big numbers, policy shift working.
Seems like it.
But if you dig just a little, a 2023 NBER study, that's the National Bureau of Economic Research, found tariffs often hit you, the consumer.
How? Like higher prices?
Yeah, potentially raising prices by like 80 to 100% on those goods. And the Tax Foundation warns it could even shrink the GDP long term.
Oof.
And yeah, maybe China's export growth slowed, so there's some leverage there, but it also risks a bigger trade war. So the core insight, it's kind of a double-edged sword. Revenue comes in, but who pays for it?
Usually us, huh?
Often, yeah. That cost gets passed down.
All right, hidden costs. Got it. Next, food policy. This is at Charlie Kirk 11. 6 more states have received waivers allowing them to ban soda, candy, and other junk foods from being purchased using SNP benefits.
SNP, the Nutrition Assistance Program?
Yep. He lists West Virginia, Florida, Colorado, Louisiana, Oklahoma, Texas joining others. Ends with Mega Hassar and a link.
Right. This highlights that growing trend restricting junk food with SNP. It stems from real health concerns, obesity rates. There was a 2017 study showing higher rates among SNP users.
So the goal is public health.
That's the argument. What's kind of surprising, though, is seeing mostly Republican-led states pushing these health rules. It challenges the usual narratives about personal choice versus government intervention.
Interesting dynamic.
Definitely. And Florida's ban, for example, starts Jan 2026. There's still debate, lawsuits. It's that classic tension, personal freedom versus public health goals.
An ongoing one.
Yeah.
Okay, last one for this segment from @UnusualWhales.
Okay.
11% of all young people are considered NEET, meaning not in employment, education, or training per Fortune.
Yeah, NEET. That 11% figure, it's a pretty big deal globally. A 2021 European Commission study had it at 13.7% in the EU, often tied to mental health issues.
So it's not just a U.S. thing.
Not at all. And it makes you wonder, are there systemic problems like economic stagnation, not enough good vocational training? An OECD report from this year actually noted a 20% rise in NEET rates for 16 to 24-year-olds in developed countries since 2019.
Wow, a rise since 2019.
Yeah. Kind of challenges that idea that education just bounced back smoothly after the pandemic. The takeaway is it's probably not just individual choices driving this. It points to broader pressures.
That's a really concerning trend to watch. Okay, these points definitely paint a complex picture. Let's shift gears now. Segment 2, tech, finance, and geopolitics, they're all tangled up.
Always are.
Starting with something maybe lighter, but with big consequences. From @AdamWathan, he tweets, I'd like to formally apologize for making every button in Tailwind UI BG Indigo 500 5 years ago, leading to every AI-generated UI on Earth also being Indigo.
Oh, this is great. I mean, it's funny, right? But it actually shows something profound.
Yeah, what's that?
How one single design choice in a popular tool like Tailwind UI, that's a CSS framework lots of devs use, can just ripple out and even influences AI.
So AI is picking up on this Indigo trend.
Apparently. Research does suggest Indigo implies trust, reliability, stuff you want in a UI. But the really cool insight here is how AI can amplify these patterns. It creates this feedback loop. It's not just humans deciding how things look anymore.
Now that you mention it, I have seen a lot of Indigo buttons lately.
Exactly. It's one of those aha moments. Once you see it, you can't unsee it.
Crazy. Okay, shifting to the markets. Gold is making headlines. Echoed by Solera reports. Breaking. Gold prices officially surge above $3,500 and enter record-high territory. This puts gold prices up plus 43% over the last 12 months, more than doubling the S&P 500's return. Includes the chart link.
Wow, over $3,500 an ounce and doubling the S&P 500's return. That's significant.
It's weak driving it.
Well, it's a mix. Weaker dollar, definitely inflation fears, and probably a general move towards safe havens, especially after that July jobs report shows slower growth than expected.
So uncertainty fuel.
Pretty much. Historically, gold rallies often track with economic worries. So this surge might signal some deeper concerns about U.S. monetary policy, maybe the global outlook in general. For you listening, it suggests investors are getting cautious.
So it's like a barometer for economic anxiety.
In a way, yeah. When investors flock to gold, they're often hedging against inflation, instability, basically signaling less confidence in traditional stocks or bonds for the near term.
Worth keeping an eye on. Okay, sticking with policy, but subtly. At Cattard2 posted just, he never sleeps, with a link.
Right, short and sweet.
The context implies it's about those midnight tariffs.
Yeah, that seems to be the reference. It lines up with that recent 25% tariff on foreign cars that kicked in back in April, specifically at midnight.
Why midnight? Just symbolic.
Could be symbolic, could be procedural. But the policy itself, the goal is usually boosting domestic industry, right? Protect local jobs.
Makes sense.
But economics research, like from Deloitte, suggests it can backfire. Tariffs can lead to trade disruptions. Other countries hit back with their own tariffs, and you might actually see job losses.
So unintended consequences.
Exactly. And it echoes history, like the Smoot-Hawley tariffs in the 30s, which many economists think worsened the Great Depression. It just shows these quick policy moves can have really complex, long-lasting effects.
History repeating, perhaps. Okay, next, a potentially huge one from @WatchYourGuru.
Let's hear it.
JCASNN. First, President Trump to sign executive order allowing cryptocurrencies in 401k retirement plans today.
Whoa. Okay, that's big news if true. Crypto in your 401k.
Is it confirmed?
Well, that's the thing. The Post claims today it fits with the president's general direction on digital assets from earlier this year. But an official record confirming the specific order today still seems to be pending last I checked.
But the groundwork is there.
Seems like it. The Department of Labor did pull back its old guidance that discouraged crypto in retirement plans, so the regulatory path is clearer now. An order like this could happen.
So plausible, but wait for official confirmation.
Exactly. And remember, even with crypto's huge market cap, what is it, $3.64 trillion, it's still famously volatile. That's a big factor for retirement savings.
Yeah, volatility and retirement don't always mix well. Okay, last one in this segment. From that Zero Hedge. Trump says CEO of Intel must resign immediately, with a link.
Intel CEO. Okay.
Yeah.
This likely ties into that ongoing scrutiny over the CEO, Lip Bhutan, and his connections to some Chinese firms.
Right, I remember hearing about that. National security concerns.
Precisely. Senator Tom Cotton was raising questions about investments linked to the Chinese military. Plus, Intel just had a leadership change anyway. It all feeds into broader U.S. worries about semiconductor supply chains, foreign influence.
So tech meets geopolitics head-on.
Absolutely. It's a perfect snapshot of those tensions playing out right at the corporate level. Raises big questions about leadership, security, and navigating that global tightrope.
Definitely a sharp reminder of those connections. All right, let's switch gears one last time, rounding out today's vibe casting with culture and commentary.
Let's do it.
First up, a cultural meme from @HighestSicarian. It's just an underscore and a link. But the context is this meme about racial identity.
Yeah. Referencing that commentator who insisted her boyfriend wasn't black but Dominican.
Right. What's the deeper layer there?
Well, it's fascinating because it taps into really complex cultural stuff about racial identity, especially, within the Dominican community. Research, like from Fordham University, talks about how Dominicans often identify as mixed race, and there are complex historical reasons for attitudes toward blackness.
So the meme is satirizing that complexity.
Exactly. It's poking fun at identity, how people present online, dating choices, and it highlights how personal or cultural self-ID can be really different from official categories, like on the census. It's humor, but it makes you think about how fluid identity is.
A lot packed into a meme.
Yeah.
Okay, next, at JD Vance posted something playful.
Oh, yeah.
He tweeted, "Well, I've finally made it," with a link showing a South Park image.
Ah, the South Park cameo. I saw that. Where he's depicted as like a tiny figure at Mar-a-Lago.
That's the one.
Yeah.
He shared it using that awkward monkey puppet meme.
Right, right. It's actually pretty interesting watching politicians engage directly with internet culture like that. He's using humor, using a meme to sort of push back playfully against a caricature.
Smart politics.
Could be. It ties into those whispers about him being a potential MAGA successor, right?
Yeah.
Using humor and pop culture can help build that image, connect with people. It really blurs the lines between politics and entertainment.
A modern political tool for sure. Okay, finally, let's wrap with some satire from at the Babylon Bee.
Always good for a laugh or a thought.
The headline: Female umpire ejects player for something he did in her dream last night, with image links.
Ah, classic B. It's obviously mocking the recent historic appointment of Jen Paul, the first female MLB umpire.
Pure exaggeration, obviously.
Of course. But what's clever about satire like this is how it can sometimes reflect or maybe tap into real underlying discussions or even anxieties.
How so?
Well, while nobody thinks umps rule based on dreams, psychological research does show dreams can influence our waking emotions subconsciously. So the satire kind of subtly pokes at potential biases or questions about fairness that might pop up when gender norms shift in male-dominated fields.
Like questioning impartiality.
Potentially, yeah.
Yeah.
An APA survey last year found like 28% of people might question impartiality more if gender norms were challenged in a role. So the B is being funny, but it gets you thinking about those underlying societal perceptions, even the unconscious ones, that surface during change.
Satire definitely has a way of doing that.
Makes you think. And that is a wrap on today's daily vibe casting. Wow. From social issues, economic twists, tech quirks, cultural commentary, the digital feed never stops.
It really doesn't. We saw how just one post can spark huge debates, bring up history, point to some surprising data.
So much packed into the stream. What stood out most to you listening today?
Yeah, definitely food for thought. And maybe connecting it all. Today's posts really show how everything's intertwined, right? The specific tweet, the bigger societal trend. It leaves me with a question for you to chew on. How much of what trends online genuinely shapes how you understand the world?
Versus how much just confirms what you already believe.
Exactly. Something to ponder as you scroll through tomorrow's feed.
Definitely something to think about. Until next time, keep digging deeper.